And here we are, live on Facebook. How you doing, Brian?
How you doing?
Good.
It's a good Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully everybody's having a good time out there. This is our second installment of our Neoweather Facebook Live show.
It sure is, yes. And some noticed improvements, a little bit better video quality, and we're hoping some better audio quality too. So if you notice any echoes or something, please let us know in the chat. We'll try to work it out for the next show, of course. But we spent, about an hour and a half kind of...
Too long.
Trying to figure out a couple different things. But we think we got it to work now. And we really got a great setup here. It's real nice. So it should really help going forward with the show. But nice, warm, humid day outside today.
Oof. I mean, I've been saying to everybody, it's feeling like Florida out there, especially the last couple of days. This is an official heat wave in Cleveland as we just went through a 90-something degree day Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as well. And we're flirting with 90 today.
And it's not even summer yet. Summer's 1 week from today, guys. 1 week. It's still spring, technically. We already had our first heat wave.
Hard to believe. It's still the astronomical summer, waiting all the way till June 21st to actually get here. And Mother Nature's going to turn that heat up early and no matter what. That's just the way it works a lot of times. You'll have some of the cold blasts in early December. Sometimes you'll get big lake effect snow even around Thanksgiving. It just, Mother Nature will not follow the calendar that reliably.
It definitely does not. Well, we got a good show for you today. We're going to obviously discuss the weather, some of the heat and storms. We'll show the latest radar. We'll go over our future cast as well. Got a little forecast for you, and we got a video of some flooding from yesterday to the Mansfield area, and a couple pictures as well to show you.
Yesterday was really impressive. I mean, not only did we deal with the heat and humidity, those storms just blossomed, and they just really erupted in a lot of portions of the state. Really, there was so many flash flood warnings on these because of all the tropical moisture.
Almost every storm had a flash flood warning. I mean, at least an inch to 2 inches of rain fell with each storm. As I was tracking yesterday, if you were following along on Facebook, I was posting a lot of the warnings and stuff. Behind those storms, there were a lot of flash flood warnings after that. A lot of 1 to 2 inch rain reports. Findlay, though, and
Hancock County, absolutely.
Yeah, both of those got hit pretty hard. Mansfield and Findlay both had some training thunderstorms a little bit there for a while. They got hit by multiple storms, and that caused some flooding issues in both of those locations.
Yeah, I mean, these storms individually were pretty impressive to begin with, and then when you have that one after another just behind it in slow-moving storms, it's no wonder that it put down 4, 5, 6 inches of water. And again, we'll show you the pictures and videos here in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But situation where you definitely don't want to be on the roads and drive through that because there was a lot of flooding.
There was. All right, well, let's move on to our headlines here for today, and that's the wrong button, guys. My apologies. We'll get back to this one. Don't you worry.
No problem. But
let's go to this one.
Thanks for everybody that's joining us here, and if you have any questions and comments, feel free. We'll be monitoring them off to the side and on the front. I have a couple different monitors to be able to see the live comments coming in. So feel free to ask away, but if you want to explain the headlines, I'll get out of the way here for a second.
Check on those comments. Make sure they can hear us, too. All right, guys. Hot and humid today and the past few days. Summer-like heat for late spring. We're going to have this through about Sunday, I think. And then we're going to start cooling down just a little bit. Just in time for summer, of course. We do have some severe weather to talk about. So some severe storms are possible, much like yesterday. And we're going to have this today and again on Thursday as well. And for the weekend, Father's Day is on Sunday, guys. Are the storms going to impact your plans? We are tracking showers and storms for the weekend. Sunday's not looking too good. We'll try to take a look at that before the end of the show, too, as to what we're going to be looking at for the weekend as well. Now we'll go on to our next graphic over here, which is going to be our statewide forecast for today. Brian?
Yeah, and more hot weather, that's for sure. That is definitely the case. Look at that, up towards Cleveland, around 88 degrees, and we'll see that continued throughout the afternoon to the early evening, mix of some sun and clouds after a sunny morning, that hazy sunshine, that kind of grayish blue sky. But across much of Akron and Youngstown, Zanesville, you're all going to deal with that isolated thunderstorm chance with those mid to upper 80s around back towards the west. We've already seen some storms across western Ohio. That trend will continue off and on throughout the rest of the afternoon into the evening hours as well. Again, scattered hit and miss thunderstorms southwest Ohio. Saw temperatures spike up into the 80s, and then those storms developed and moved through, and we knocked those temps all the way down back into the 70s with some cloud cover around for much of southwest Ohio. Take a look at some of those storms on radar here in just a little bit. But some areas did touch out well into the 80s to near 90. It just depends on where those storms are. These forecasts for temperatures can't always be exact because if storms develop over an airport where the temperature reading is, it's going to knock those temperatures down 10, 20 degrees pretty easy. We saw that even yesterday with an outflow boundary. I'll show you that video
There's
also
a neat
coming
video
up
coming
here
up
in just a moment. So a couple cool things to really pay attention to. But while I'm holding this piece of paper, we want to get this settled once and for all. We've had a few episodes, and we want to come up with an official name for this show. So these are all the possibilities that we've kind of garnered that you guys have sent in, or we've had Facebook tweeted to us as well. Neoweather Live, which is kind of what we've
Kind of
been
what it is
calling
right
it.
now at the moment.
It works. I mean, it's simple. It's absolutely what we're doing. Buckeye Weather Live. I mean, we talk mainly about the state of Ohio and, of course, all the weather coverage that goes into it from Columbus down to Cincinnati and up to Zanesville and Youngstown. Ohio Weather Live, pretty much the same thing, just maybe a tiny bit less clever. First Warn Live. That certainly works. That's our branding.
It's it's right there in our name, right up there.
Weather Talk Live. It's also something that
That's
certainly works.
interesting.
And Ohio Weather Minds. I feel like that would be the very intellectual way to say that. So we have some possibilities, guys. We want to hear in the comments what you guys
If you do
got.
have any, yes, post
If
below
there's
in the
anything
comments.
here.
Next week, we're going to reveal the name of the show off of this list. And if it was a viewer submitted, which most of these are viewer submitted suggestions, we'll even mention you, the viewer, who named the show.
So let's get those comments going.
Yes.
What do you guys want? Neoweather Live, Buckeye Weather Live, Ohio Weather Live, First Warn Live.
You can post down
Weather
below which one you
Talk
like too. Tell us
Live.
which one you like.
Or Ohio Weather Minds. And probably after this show, I'll do a poll with these mentioned.
Excellent.
And we'll see which one is selected. But these are all good. We'll
Yes,
see what
they're
works.
very good. And it's hot across the state of Ohio today, and some might be wondering about that heat index a little bit too. I wanted to show this graphic.
I'm
it's
pretty
not
sure
that
it's toasty.
It's not that impressive actually. So when you factor in the
Not
the humidity,
horrible. It's, I mean, very warm, of course.
It is.
But it's just not horrible. Mid-90s in a couple spots there from Columbus to Cincinnati. And again, all that extra humidity from the storms that moved through as well throughout the later morning, early afternoon hours. But Toledo to Cleveland, generally low 90s. So you're feeling those temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, but the humidity isn't making it feel that much more miserable.
It's
Just a
not,
bit.
and that's kind of why I wanted to show us a little bit. You can see we're really not in any sort of like big action category, 100+ degree heat. So not too bad out there in terms of heat index. This is temperature when you factor in the humidity in the air. All right, we will go ahead and we'll move on to the latest radar now too. We're gonna hit this button here, and I think it's gonna work. Hot darn, there it goes. Look at that. Hey, we got a new mesoscale discussion. I'll have to pull that up. So this is the weather across the state. We have storms across southwestern Ohio once again today. They got a bunch of rain down there again. They're getting some more. Up here, nice, warm, humid, sunny skies. There are clouds building. If you go outside, you're going to see some cumulus clouds building. I was out about an hour ago, actually, at this point, and there were some cumulus clouds trying to build. Nothing big or impressive at this point in time. We're not expecting organized severe weather, but we are looking for some severe weather both today and tomorrow. We're going to get to that in just a couple moments, too. We're also going to look into this mesoscale discussion that you'll see pop up. It'll circle right there it is. We're going to look into that and see what that's about, too, because that could affect something. I'm not anticipating it being for a severe thunderstorm watch, however. I think it's just an area the Storm Prediction Center is going to be watching right now.
Yeah, it seems like it would probably be at least a slight chance that they might be watching to pay attention to. There could be some severe thunderstorms, but the best dynamics for severe weather is out towards the west, Iowa, Wisconsin, portions of Missouri into Indiana and Illinois. That is where a better risk for severe thunderstorms is today, and that is where a Storm Prediction Center mesoscale discussion was out for about a 60% chance for a watch. So,
Oh, yeah, and it looks like they did issue
they
that
did
watch
issue
out there
that,
now, just recently for Chicago area.
Very recently. So Mark's reading up
Oh,
on...
wow. Okay, so this is saying, Storm Prediction is saying the watch is possible, mainly across eastern Illinois and northern Kentucky. However, it does get close to the Cincinnati area in Ohio. So this is something we'll watch. If there is a watch issued for parts of southwestern Ohio later today, we are going to be monitoring it. So we'll look for that. Any sort of severe weather we're going to have today is mainly going to be damaging wind as the big threat. Could see some large hail, though.
Yeah, I
and
wouldn't
of course,
be surprised to see
heavy
that hail.
rainfall. Absolutely.
Yeah, all these storms are going to have that heavy rainfall, but here across southwest Ohio, we're just continuing to watch these storms develop. And again, it's keeping those temperatures down. It's providing a lot of extra rain, and that's going to lead to that potential flooding hit and miss.
Well, yeah, we also have some very nice, let me flip this
definitely
around here, some nice cumulus here across northern Ohio right now. You can see it's right here.
Yep.
Real nice. Inland of the lake. If you're near the lake, if you're generally, within about 10 miles or so of the lake, you're not going to see
shadow
anything.
that develops.
Yes,
that
and
kind
that's
of
exactly
stable
what we're
air
seeing
that comes
here.
right in from Lake Erie, and sometimes lasts about 5 miles inland.
Yeah,
normally.
5, sometimes 10 if it's strong enough, but usually about 5. I think today, if you're in downtown Cleveland, you're not going to really see any rain. And if you get down to maybe about 480, I think you might actually stay dry too. South of that, this is really where we're seeing these clouds actually. These are just cumulus clouds all, but they're starting to build and develop.
It looks like they're
Could
going
lead
to start
some rain
potentially
later.
producing some showers. Look at this. This is brand new. A couple
yeah.
showers, maybe a rumble of thunder starting to develop out here towards north central Ohio. So Sandusky down towards Huron County, back towards the Toledo area. That's what we're going to continue to watch, is kind of a broken line of some showers and thunderstorms to continue to develop further off towards the east here. So where you see these busting cumulus clouds becoming a little bit more billowing, that is where we expect a little bit of development over the next hour or so for some storms. But if you want to look at the zoomed in radar there, we can take a look, see what those look like near Toledo.
Near Toledo, these are going to be pretty new, and there we go.
All right, so a little bit of a view here. You want to switch it over to the
Yes, I will.
XSplit. See
There we
that
go.
A little better. Thank you. Awesome. So right here,
we're still
just
learning,
east
folks.
of Toledo. No, this is pretty fluid. It's going well.
Yeah.
But you can see these storms just beginning to develop. Probably we'll call them heavy showers for right now. Doesn't
A little
look
bit
like
of thunder
we have
in there.
Too much thunder.
A little
quite
bit of
yet.
lightning.
But definitely growing thunderstorms, and again, these are heavy rainmakers. So if you're heading, looks like just north of I-80 there, this is where you could definitely see some of the heavier rain. And again, we'll continue to see those really develop off towards the east as well.
Very good. Hey, I also want to go over to our other radar here, looking at southwest Ohio. So we're going to switch on over to that. There we are. And we can see here, well, there's that mesoscale discussion, that big, huge yellow box you see there. Let's get this into motion, too. There we go.
I just want to say hi to Tina from Jacksonville, Florida. She's
Hi,
originally
Tina.
from Jeffersonville, Ohio, or
Thank
Jefferson,
you.
Ohio. Hello, Marissa. How you doing out there? And,
Hello, as always.
Jason's recommending Buckeye Weather Live. So
All right,
we've
good.
had a few of those.
We got one vote. We got our first official vote. Thank you very much, Jason. All right, so this is our southwestern Ohio radar here out of Wilmington, Ohio. You can just see there's not a lot of severe storms or anything like that. They're just garden variety storms, really, with some heavy rain moving across southwestern Ohio. Dayton's really getting some good storms right now down towards Cincinnati. And then again off to the east and southeast here across the southern Ohio as well. And you can see some of them all starting to develop up to the north as well. So we're going to watch this development through the afternoon. Of course, we're going to watch and see what the Storm Prediction Center does with this mesoscale discussion, if they issue a watch or not for part of Ohio. If they do, yeah, you can rest assured we'll have it posted for you on Facebook here later this afternoon.
But yeah, relatively speaking, things are staying fairly tame, so we're not going to expect too much of a severe weather event, probably under what we saw yesterday. We're not expecting widespread flooding on every warning, and a lot of those warnings were producing some pretty good hail and just torrential rain. A lot of flooding on those as well. You want to show a couple of those pictures?
We'll get to that. Actually, let's get to the severe weather threat
Okay,
first for
that
tomorrow.
works.
So do you want to discuss that?
Sure, absolutely. Basically, what we're going to see the rest of today and through the day tomorrow is a marginal risk. So that means it's relatively low for severe weather, which is damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, or large hail in excess of a diameter of an inch, which is about the size of a quarter. So just a low threat. This is the number 1 out of 5 scale from the Storm Prediction Center on potential for severity with thunderstorms. So it goes marginal, then slight, and then enhanced, and then moderate and high risk. So just a small little risk. Again, this is for pretty much today and tomorrow. I'd say the best threat with any storms that develop is that localized flooding, and that's not considered to be part of severe weather. Same thing with lightning. We could have some decent lightning with these storms due to all of the instability, that energy in the atmosphere, that thunderstorm fuel. So there could be a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain that does produce some very strong storms. But again, as far as severity, the damage from hail or winds, we're going to stick with generally a low risk on that.
Absolutely. And on our Neo risk here, you can see we do have the various threats up here. Damaging winds, again, that's really the biggest threat we're going to have. I have it in the moderate category, but really it could probably be in the low end of the moderate category, to be honest with you. Large hail in the low end of the moderate category. That could probably go to the low category after this point today. We don't have the severe weather developing as we did yesterday today, so these threats can actually be a little lower. Really no tornado threat. We don't have
for rotations, definitely
yeah,
low.
extremely low. We just don't have the right setup for it. Flooding, really probably the next biggest thing right now, even without the severe weather. A lot of moisture in the atmosphere, there's a lot of rain coming down in a hurry, and it's been dry, so it's running across the ground pretty quick instead of absorbing into the ground, and that does make a difference. So those are our neo-risk threats for anywhere really in the state today, and also for tomorrow for the most part too. I don't really see much of a change for these threats going into tomorrow.
No, we have that low pressure system nearby, a small little one with that draped stationary front across northern Ohio, so that's kind of being the focal point for more storms to develop. And we should even see more in the way of storms as we go throughout tomorrow, and we'll show you the future radar from one of our computer models going forward through the afternoon and in towards the evening and into the day
let's
tomorrow.
do that right now, folks. I actually forgot all about that, so let's go ahead and do that right now.
No problem. And Marissa, to answer your question, Youngstown does stand the threat for some thunderstorms, especially during the evening hours. I'm thinking there'll be a line, kind of a broken, scattered line that develops Cleveland, Lorain, back to Sandusky, down towards maybe the Akron area, and that should generally track eastward towards Youngstown. Again, it's going to be scattered. You're not going to see widespread rain. It could be hit and miss at your house, but there should at least be some rain and rumbles around within about a few hours, several hours, going into the evening hours.
All right, and we're going to take that off. There we
Sure
go. And we're going to take that off. There we go.
We're going to take a look at the model imagery right now. This is from our high-resolution NAM model. It's a North American model. It kind of sees forward from the current over the next few days or so. So we're going to track that eastward. And right now you can see just developing a couple little storms across western Ohio. There we go. There's the development across northeast Ohio right there.
That's about 8 o'clock tonight.
That's what we were talking about. Next few hours starting to develop and beginning to move east through the area with a couple other scattered storms from Hancock County up through Putnam and right towards the Wood County area across Toledo there as well. So we'll see just scattered storms begin to push across the western or eastern portion of the state through the evening into the overnight. And what time is this now?
We are at 5 a.m. right now.
All right, so a few more
Thursday
storms. Looks like the focal point on this model is going to be across southeast Ohio as we go towards the early morning commute tomorrow. And Athens included in that, and then that will move out, and our next disturbance will move in as we go across the west. You can see Indy beginning to see a decent amount of storms back towards Cincinnati, towards Ironton as well. So that's going to be as we go through the morning hours tomorrow, and then there'll be a little bit more storm development across northeast Ohio for the afternoon into the evening hours then once again tomorrow. So we're really in this similar pattern of just off and on storminess here through the next several days. It's a soupy pattern. It's kind of tropical. And look at this, a much more organized band of storms. And what time do we have
This is
here?
midnight Friday, so this is Thursday night at midnight.
Late tomorrow night into the early morning hours there on Friday. That's pretty good. Relatively widespread, and that's why we have our precipitation chances up in the likely category for that time frame as well.
This particular model, it likes to develop these storms after about 8 o'clock tomorrow night, so we'll see if that holds or not. I mean, it doesn't quite line up with the sun setting and everything. However, that would mean heat rising as everything cools. That could drive some diurnal thunderstorms as well. So we could see some thunderstorms, some strong to severe at times, perhaps anytime after about 7 o'clock tomorrow night on through about midnight to 2 a.m. or so.
There's been pretty
before
good
this clears
guidance
out of
on the
here.
models over the last several days at some point during your Thursday, whether it was some models showing it more in the morning, whether some showing it more in the evening or somewhere in between. But somewhere between Thursday and Friday morning, there should be a round of more widespread storms. We just don't have the world's best modeling in this type of a weather pattern,
It's tough.
especially.
It's
all that
really tough.
soupy.
We get a lot of what's called feedback in the models too sometimes, although they've really corrected the problems over the years, but sometimes it'll show rain or storms when there's not going to be rain or storms because of this feedback loop in the model, and sometimes that can happen. So it happens, but actually this model is actually fairly decent with everything, and it's newer, so it's very possible we see these storms too that develop tomorrow evening. I'm also going to go over and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the weekend weather, guys.
Yeah, and this can help answer Marissa's question. She's wondering what the weather will be for Thunder in the Valley, the air show over Youngstown.
Yes. Hey, my parents. Hi, Mom. I know you're watching.
Hi,
my
Mom.
parents and my son are actually looking to go to the air show on Saturday, so this actually works out very, very good for you guys. So we'll take a look at that here. Let me get the mouse in the right spot. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so here we are. This is Saturday morning right now, and we're looking at some showers possible across western and southwestern Ohio. As we go through the day here, if we can get the mouse in the right spot. Nope. Yep. There we go. As we go through the day, we'll see really the afternoon, not bad across Ohio. I think the air show is going to get in on Saturday without any problems. It'll be done probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock. This is 2 o'clock right now. And then as we get into about 5, 6 o'clock, we got storms developing up along the lake where we'll have a front move through on Sunday eventually. And then the evening could be stormy, especially Sandusky to Cleveland to Youngstown as well, and maybe even into Canton. And then as we go through the night, we're going to see some on and off showers move through. Look at the big blob of rain coming here. Yeah, this is Sunday morning, folks. This is Father's Day. It's not looking like a great day. A good chance for showers and storms all across the state. Where will they be? It's really hard to tell right now. The afternoon and evening, this is Sunday evening at about 7, 8 o'clock. A lot of rain possible across really much of the state with a line of storms along the front itself going into Indiana. And that's going to move through here overnight. You can see plenty of rain coming through overnight. And then as we get into early Monday, we will have some leftover rain on Monday, I think, at this point. And then that's going to clear out through the morning, hopefully here. By the afternoon, it looks like it's going to be mainly just confined to southeastern Ohio before it does clear out sometime Monday evening. Now, here's the caveat on this. The models, the long-range models right now, they're not really agreeing on a lot of this stuff. There's some agreement, but there's not a lot of agreement. This is the GFS. This is the American model you hear about on the Weather Channel a lot. And it's kind of a coarse model in the sense that it shows those big blobs of rain. It might actually be a couple storms that actually do develop within that big blob. It's just saying that there's a chance in those blobs for rain or storms or whatever. So take it for a grain of salt right now. But as we go over the next couple days, we're going to be looking at some storms increasing, and we'll have a better idea where those storms do develop. But I think Sunday night, we're going to see a good amount of rain.
That's when we will have that cold front moving through. So if you really love this nice, soupy, tropical summertime weather, it's not going to stick around forever, but the pattern overall is going to be a little warmer than average going forward the next few weeks. But we are going to see a cool down to a few days of cooler than normal temps as we go in towards, let's say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. But from now on, through the weekend, it's still going to be pretty warm with these off and on storms. And there will be probably some really good agreement with the models as we go closer to a period during your Sunday, whether that's morning or whether that's evening or night. For some decent storms and some heavy rain as well.
Absolutely. Hey, let's go to those pictures from yesterday now, Brian. So we'll look at some flooding here. It looks like the Mansfield Steel plant.
There was a lot of water there.
This is a lot of water, yeah. Mansfield got hit with about 4 to 5 inches of water.
That's impressive. That is some very, very heavy rain that fell there over the course of just a few hours. I mean, literally burying cars.
Yeah,
Whew.
absolutely. Yeah, that's a lot of rain right there. So
and Shelby, Ohio Weather, thank you for tweeting that to us.
Oh, yes,
and I
thank
think
you.
putting that on Facebook as well for us, sharing that good image. But it's just crazy the amount of water that can go all the way up to the hoods of cars.
Yeah, in such a short amount of time, too. I mean, they got a lot of rain in a hurry. They had a flash flood warning with the first round of storms that moved through where they got 2 to 3 inches of rain in a hurry. I mean, real quick, and then they got more later, and that didn't help at all. So it just really goes to show how quick flash flooding can develop and how fast that water can just move in, and you're going, where did it come from? It wasn't here 5 minutes ago.
We always want to remind you, turn around, don't drown. I don't care if it looks like it's just a few inches of water. If you cannot see the bottom of the roadway, you do not know how deep it is.
That's correct.
And it only takes a little bit of water, about 6 inches, for you to be able to start to go swimming in your car a little bit.
Yes.
You do not want to lose control. Even hydroplaning just over a couple inches of water can make you potentially lose control. So always best to just find another route to get to where you need to go.
Speaking of more flooding, here's a video that came in via Ohio News and Weather. Thanks to Nicholas Dunn for that page. well. This, you can see, this got washed out here. I guess I just had it behind the
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. That's crazy. Look at all that. That is just stream of water just absolutely downpouring.
Yes. I did hear, though, I don't know how true this is, I did hear a report that there were kids swimming in this prior to the area. Don't do that. Don't get in any sort of fast-moving water after the storm and try to go in it. This is all draining through this culvert. Look how fast it's draining in that culvert right here. And you get stuck in that, you get stuck in that. Who knows how far that goes, how wide that is, anything. Don't ever go into any sort of water like this when you see something like this happen.
Nonetheless, very impressive for sure. I mean,
very impressive.
I can't say that we expected that much water.
And that's grass. That's running across grass, not a parking lot. It's running to a place where there was water already. So there's just water there. It's running right across the top of that field there because it just doesn't have the time to soak in. The ground's nice and dry,
right
but
there.
you
You
can't
see all of
get
that water
in
in that whole vicinity. Just very impressive how much we can hold on in such a short amount of time, and that's why there is a flash flood warning. When warnings are issued, it's not for nothing, it's for a real potential concern. And obviously driving through that's going to cause some big issues. Trying to swim in it, that's a no-no.
Yep. All right, another video I wanted to show from yesterday. This is our radar here, and we're going to watch this. This is really cool here. So these are the storms down here from yesterday, right? Here's all the severe weather we had. There's that rain across the Mansfield area, all the warnings and stuff. That all happened through, this was probably about 4 o'clock or so. Well, we're going to watch these storms here and a line move north out of it. So we're going to let this go ahead and replay. Here we go. And you're going to see this little line right about here all of a sudden develop and move north. There it goes. That is an outflow boundary from a thunderstorm. That's wind blowing away from it. And it made it all the way up to the lake shore, beat the lake breeze, and it took the temperature at Lorain County Airport, which was 90, and then it lowered it to 81. So that was a 9-degree difference in under an hour, really under probably about a 15-minute time period.
And no storm there.
No storm.
Just the wind from it.
We had no rain up here yesterday, and that was just the wind from it, and it really cooled it down quite a bit. So it was 93 at Hopkins, I believe, yesterday. It actually didn't affect the temperature at Hopkins. It got real close, but you can see that band it just died off before it got to the airport. It maybe lowered the temperature a couple of degrees by 5 o'clock or so, but it really affected Lorain County Airport the most. That took the brunt of the, but it's just really cool to see that sort of thing where you get the outflow boundary, no storm, no rain-cooled air, and it managed to drop the temperature 9 degrees.
Absolutely, and I think we saw that in Akron as well, pretty strong too as that moved through because Akron didn't experience any rain. Same kind of story. It's just a lesson in the trained eye of a meteorologist knowing what to look for and how weather can affect a certain area. It sometimes is a lot more intricate and detailed than what you see when you look at a radar map and, oh, this big blob of red's coming at us. Well, there's a lot more to it than just that. And sometimes there could be some pretty gusty winds within those little gust fronts too.
Large hail, a tornado perhaps. We could see debris on radar even too. Yeah. And those appear as very bright, colorful returns because they're, it's whatever. It's got a lot of shapes to it. It's highly reflective off the radar beam. So it returns a high signal because the radar is receiving a high return. So it really can detect a lot. What's really nice about seeing that outflow boundary was the fact that it's just so fluid because the radar had storms in the area. Some of the new developments they put in the radar technology and how it scans, we're getting updates now. It literally is as early as a minute and a half, which is great because it used to be at best 4 to 5 minutes. Just depending a little bit. Now we're getting them about a minute and a half or so.
Yeah,
which is really nice.
Improvement. It helps us so much. There's so many tornadoes that we'll see in this area of the country, especially in Ohio, that will be maybe 1 or 2 scans on radar.
And it's gone.
You would never be able to detect them before because they would happen within that 5-minute time frame. Now you can typically see like, there's rotation here.
Yeah, and sometimes we can't. Sometimes they happen so briefly, it happens in between the skin. We'll never know about it. But that's just the limitation of it. It's not real time. It's near real time.
It's gotten better.
It's gotten a lot better in the past few years. Some of the improvements out of it have been great, and we see some of that. I mean, that outflow boundary, that could be a gust front or something ahead of a storm.
Sure.
And those, we know, can be very dangerous sometimes. You can have 50, 60 mile an hour severe thunderstorm warning type criteria winds with a gust front with no precipitation.
And it's something you would never see on your
10
weather
miles
app.
ahead of the storm.
Would never see on a weather channel or an AccuWeather radar. You need to know exactly what you're looking for to kind of see that signature moving through.
And to
very
see that update every minute and a half or so is great, because it allows us to really get down to the minute. It's going to affect this community at this time, then this community, then this community, and we can see where it's going to affect in its reach. And you also watch it move through really quick. And you can see sometimes those can take off way ahead of that storm. They can be 15, 20 miles ahead of the storm sometimes. So that's a very strong case. Usually they're about 5 to maybe 10 miles ahead of the storm, more or less.
It was kind of interesting with the movement of that. You had the storms kind of staying relatively stationary.
They were very
south,
slow moving.
And you have the gust front going north.
Going north. Yeah, the storms yesterday, they were generally moving east to southeast, 15 to 20 miles an hour. They were very slow movers, which is also why we had the flash flooding we had, because the heavy rain and these things are just sitting there. Then we had the storm move north. The other caveat is the lake, of course, right? So, you get the lake breeze in the afternoon, and it beat the lake breeze. And maybe there wasn't a lake breeze yesterday. But
probably just right along the lake shore.
Burke Lakefront was cooler. So, what happened up literally along the lakefront with that lake breeze? I'm not real sure, but it probably hit that and then fizzled off, or it beat it and made it to the lake, and then as soon as it hit the lake, hit that stable air, and it just fizzled out.
Went bye-bye.
Yeah, it would fizzle out real quick. It would take care of it.
Which is something that happens a lot with this kind of a setup. I mean, the Lake Erie, just to mention, is an amazing impact on our weather all year round. Of course, you hear about lake effect snow, and that's what the main impact is a lot of times, as far as you're getting 2 feet of snow in the snow belt from some systems. But these little smaller scale type events, so lake breeze boundaries and sparking off storms, or maybe even creating that stable air that I was talking about earlier, known as the lake shadow, where you have all that sunshine right against the lake shore, and then mostly cloudy skies, just 10 miles inland.
Yeah, just enough to keep everything at bay, and then inland is an entirely different story, which is really cool. We see it a few times a year, mainly in the spring. But we do see it, and it is really neat to see that when we get that, because it doesn't happen very often. We usually see it a couple times a year. But
it's a fun area of the country to forecast for and to experience weather-wise. You get a little bit of everything, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
As
sometimes we get it in one day.
It's happened this spring. Heat on in the morning, AC in the afternoon.
Yeah. Sometimes you get tornadoes one day and snow the next. I've seen that before, too, back in, I want to say, 2004. I think that happened. I was tracking storms on my own, and we had winter storm products out for the night before, like a winter storm warning for Ashtabula County. And wouldn't you know it, that night, storm started rotating the night before, and hey, there's a tornado warning with a winter storm warning that was also in effect. And it was just all sorts of pandemonium. I'm like, wow, I don't think I'd see this ever again if I wanted to. But it was nice the one day, and it was
go to Colorado, you'll see that.
Oh yeah, Colorado for sure. Out in Denver, anything along the Front Range of the Rockies, you see that sort of extreme. It'll snow 2 feet one day, the next day it's 75.
And that's one of the things too. A lot of people think like wherever their certain area is, wait just a minute and the weather will change, kind of a thing.
And it might.
or we're the windiest city, or we get the most extremes, but there are some other areas that just blow us away from the day-to-day dramatic extremes, from perfect sunshine to a foot of snow back to 70 and sunny again the next day. And that's certainly Colorado being one of those spots.
Yeah, that's for sure. Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. They get quite the extreme out there, sometimes more than what we ever experience.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You got all the pictures and videos shared.
We got everything this week.
I like it. We certainly had a pretty active pattern. Again, this is a show that we're going to try to do once a week, generally speaking, sometime during the afternoon hours generally. We'll kind of play around with it a little bit, see what works, be flexible. Of course, you don't want appointment TV. You want to be able to turn us on whenever you get a chance to, and check out your latest Ohio weather coverage. So we'll always keep you updated on that. And we'll be able to keep you updated on SoundCloud with this same show. It'll be posted as a link to our website as well, so you can watch the video at your own convenience.
And it'll be on our YouTube page, too.
Yep.
So lots of ways to go back and watch the show. If you can't watch an episode when we go live, you can look at it. Of course, it's always been our Facebook page here for a while, but you can get it on YouTube. You can get it via podcast through SoundCloud, where it just be audio. You can go to our webpage, neoweather.us. There's always a post on there about it, too. That'll link you to that YouTube video. Also, if you have any show topics, anything you'd like us to talk about, a question, a topic, whatever, hey, feel free to drop us a line. You can comment below, or you can make a post to our page. Yeah. We'd be glad to take a look at it for you and talk about it, too. So
absolutely.
If you have any show topics, we'll take those as well, and we'll discuss those on a future episode.
And we'll have those different possible show names for you posted as a poll. You could take the poll, take 1 second, and we'll be able to choose the winner. And finally have a brand for our new show, which will be great.
We'll announce that next week, too. So we'll be doing that. And I'm excited to see what we're going to end up with.
It'll be good, I'm sure, no matter what. That was a pretty good list that everybody came up with.
Yes, thank you very much for your suggestions. If you do have them, we'll take them below. And then you'll see that, that poll a little later this afternoon.
And thanks again, guys, for watching. Definitely appreciate it. If you like the show, come back again and continue to watch us. We're going to try to do more Facebook Lives for weather coverage, just in general, but this is going to be a semi-weekly show for sure. And also, if you do like it, make sure to share it to your friends and family so they can check it out. We want to provide the best forecast for the state of Ohio and keep you safe for all kinds of different kind of weather that we do experience here.
That's absolutely right. And we'll be watching the thunderstorms that are moving across parts of the state this afternoon and evening. If there are any warnings, we'll be posting them to our Facebook page. If things get really active, we'll fire up the Facebook Live here later. But we kind of wait till that gets a little more active, because it's kind of boring if we talk about just one severe thunderstorm warning. But
well, it's still
it's
got
still
20
here.
mile per hour
It's still
winds.
here. Yep.
It's moved about 1/2 of a kilometer eastward.
So as things get more active, where posting becomes a little bit too much, we like to be able to bring up the Facebook Live, and we'll be able to do it right here, like we did today. That'd be great. So it'd be a lot nicer than what we've ever done in the past before.
It's just like watching your local newscast during severe weather coverage. Can't complain about that.
Cannot. That's true. We'll be back next week, Wednesday afternoon, and we hope you join us. And we'll have that show name for you finally.
Finally.
And we'll of course talk about more current weather, a little future weather, and some other things I'm sure we'll share.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a little bit cooler as we go in towards next week. We'll probably be dealing with a few days of some upper 70s, so feeling a little bit better for you that don't want the major heat. But otherwise, getting the pool the next few days, we'll be staying in the 80s to possibly a 90-degree day or two going into the weekend. So
that's true.
Thanks so much, guys. Again, share if you like this, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great rest of the afternoon and evening.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.